Season 2 should be coming in a couple of months, and just like everybody else, I have some things I would like to see when it finally arrives. Of course, everybody wants to see what it's gonna bring for their mains and are praying for buffs, and I do too. I don't think anybody who's being fair is gonna say that Lee shouldn't get any buffs, particularly regarding his heat. And yeah, he could definitely use some improvements, but let's be honest with ourselves here, it'd be much better if every other character was adjusted using Lee as the baseline. I mean, I have a lot to say about other characters, but let's leave that for another day. What's important for now is that I have some thoughts on what Lee should get, and I've talked to other Lee mains to see what they think. So in this video I'm gonna briefly talk about that, but be on the lookout for another video, because I might want to talk about this in more detail and less scripted. So let's get into it and start off with the most glaring issue with Lee. I don't think anybody in their right mind would dispute that Lee's heat is next to useless. I mean, he has a couple of things, but it just pales in comparison to everyone else. The gimmick here is that you can just carelessly mash out the just frames, but you get some heat back if you actually hit the timings properly. The problem here is that all but one of them is a high, which means that you risk your entire life for trying to use them outside of a combo or a punish. What really sucks is that you risk getting launched for pretty much everything regarding your heat. Your heat engages are either all high or very steppable mid. I mean, one of them is even exceptionally slow. Compare that with the garbage that some other characters get. Jin has a mid-mid that's unavoidable if you're minusing up, and oh my god, this motherfucker has a 14-frame launcher in heat. Now, I don't think any character should have that, but if one does, it should be the guy whose identity is wall carry and good punishment. Another issue with Lee is that if you happen to miss the just frame, you're just wasting your meter for no reason. I think this should be removed because it really doesn't add anything. Though if you really want to keep him accessible, you can keep the Acid Rain assist, I guess. The move I think every Lee main wants to get buffed is a slide. Specifically that it should knock down in heat, at least if you hit the just frame. I want to see this as well, but since we're being choosing beggars, I think slide should be a little bit safer in heat. Maybe if you hit the just frame, it should be minus 14 or minus 13 point blank. As it stands, the slide is way too punishable in linear, and it's not even a float, which means unlike launch or Keen, a lot of the damage you take is gonna be true damage without recoverable health. I don't think this is right, especially when Lee's slide is not nearly as annoying as those two. Next move that needs buffs is FF2, which is a cool move but not nearly strong enough for the properties it has. In heat and just frame, I think it should launch on a normal hit. I can barely get this to land to begin with, so I don't think that's crazy. Problem with this move is that it has way too many holes. It's super linear, it's fairly slow, and it's a high on top of that. For Mistrap, it's pretty simple. I want it to give a bit more heat back if you hit the just frame and consume a little bit less heat if you miss it. I think it eats up way too much heat as it is now. And if I'm pushing my luck, I think it should be a full launch if you manage to hit the just frame while in heat. It's not like that's easy, and the move itself is very avoidable, both by sidestepping and by ducking. And I mean, come on, if you can't react to a 30 frame high, then you deserve to get launched. The only question is if it would create some broken resets at the wall. As for Lee's heat smash, well, it's still the worst heat smash in the game. Terrible damage, pretty slow, no Oki, steppable to the left and even to the right sometimes. So I propose one of these buffs. Increase the damage a little bit, reanimate it to be a little bit faster, or make it less punishable on block. I heard from some Lee mains that they would like down forward 3-2, 3-2 launch on hit like it did in Tekken 7, and I mean, okay, maybe that's a little bit too much. The reason people want this is because we don't really have a back turn launcher for Lee anymore. You have to use your regular launchers, but then you're stuck back turn where the back two loops don't work and you can't even get a wall splat. Although I think that this could maybe work if it was a heat engager. Granted, this would still be stupidly strong, so I only want this if the other characters don't get nerfed into the ground. With this next one I expect some pushback, but you know how Lee only has a punch parry? Yeah, in heat at the cost of some meter, I think this should also parry kicks. It will play well into Lee's identity as a good defensive character instead of giving him some stupid oppressive tools. So I already talked about FF2, but there's a bit more to it. You don't really get much reward for this getting blocked either, and considering it's a linear high, that's kinda stupid. It's +2 on block or +5 if you're going to misstep, but if you do, then you're getting pigeonholed somewhat. You can't do standing 3 properly after this unless you perfectly cancel your movement. It's like one just frame away from trying to do a taunt jet upper. And if you mess it up, you could get misstep 3-4 and then get floated. Similar thing happens if you try back 3-3, so you have to resort to a down 3 if you want a load that uses your plus frames. And since you can't use standing 4, you have to use DF1, which has like no tracking. So what you have is plus frames where even the tiniest and safest option you have after that could lead to you getting launched. And you already risked that by throwing out FF3 in the first place. Look, I know what I just said about stupid oppressive moves, but it's ridiculous to me that we have to risk our entire life for the tiniest poke after that. So yeah, this move I think needs to get buffed. I think I would like it to partially track to one side, but it could also get indirectly buffed if you get a new move to use after it. And I don't know, maybe it should give you a guaranteed follow-up if you normal hit. Here's a summary of what I would like to see, and I think the tracking should be to the left. Down forward 323 is another string that I think needs some adjustments for it to really be usable. I already did a more detailed breakdown in my hit confirm quick notes video, so I won't repeat myself, go watch that instead. But if it doesn't get reverted to have its Tekken 7 properties again, there's a few changes I think absolutely need to happen. As it stands, there's at least 2 ways to launch punish this string, and I don't think that's justified considering the reward you stand to get. If this is gonna be more usable, we need one of these 2 changes. Either the first 2 hits jail and it's not launch punishable, or you can still duck and launch it, but you can't punish the 3rd hit as much. Another minor change that some people want is that FT1 should be a little bit easier to hit confirm. I can hit confirm this pretty well if I set it up and I'm looking for it, but yeah, if I don't, then it's a little bit harder to hit. Getting a couple more frames leeway sounds reasonable. Machine gun kicks on the other hand, I really don't think I can hit confirm. Maybe some cracked Lee players can, but I don't think it's reasonable. I would like to see this a bit more confirmable. Okay, why doesn't this floor throw break? Floor throw break. Okay, why doesn't this throw floor break? It should floor break! Look at the animation! Lee's right side throw should not be the only one he has that floor breaks. This should give a full combo as well. The running 3-4 floor break is nice and all, but it's not enough. It's also kinda lame that you get a weaker combo because the first hit sends them airborne. A floor breaking throw on the other hand gives you a full combo out of this. It also kinda sucks playing the only character who doesn't have a floor breaking throw. Some people also wish that this would floor break again, but I don't think that's necessary. Oh, come on! What the hell was that? Where's my balcony break? Why did that whiff? Why did that whiff? What just stop? Look at this! Why is this whiffing? You whiff on hit! You whiff on hit! You whiff on fucking... Ohayo gozaimasu. 原田さん、お願いします。少々お待ちください。はい。Don't ask me for shit. Hi, Harada-san. Big fan of your work and hey, really enjoying Tekken 8 so far. There's just a couple things I need to report here. Fix Lee!